Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to do a tier list based off some of your guys' favorite MMA content creators. But this time, instead of ranking them of how I subjectively feel about how I like their content, we're going to be making a tier list over my chances being able to win a 1v1. Now, to set the boundaries real quick, this is going to be 1v1 in the cage, MMA rule set. Because some of these people, they might pull one on me, and it's over. That's all the rule set's going to be. Now, I have limited who's going to be on here based off just how much I watch them, and I'm just going to be point blank with you. Because there's some people that I know are pretty big on this app that I just don't watch enough of to get an accurate read on, would I win this fight? We all know what we're talking about. We're all MMA fans. We've all found somebody in a Walmart and been like, yeah, I think I got this. And this is going to be those thoughts for people that I've been watching for the past couple years. And with that out of the way, let's get started. Number one, we're starting off with the Weasel, okay? Now, how do I feel about a fight between me and the Weasel? The Weasel undoubtedly has higher fight IQ than I do. 100%. Every time that I hear the Weasel, break down something, okay? The Weasel strikes me as a guy that, at the bare minimum, is a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm going to say has some kickboxing experience. And if I had to guess a height based off his voice, I'm going to say 5'10". I think all of that put together, I think he'll give me a good run for my money. However, I can also see a scenario. I mean, who am I kidding? This one's going to be a very tough one for me. I don't think I'm cooked. I don't think I'm cooked. I don't think the Weasel is secretly a professional fighter, behind the persona. I think at best he is a MMA connoisseur who's been training behind the scenes. I'm gonna put this one at a low-high diff. I think a low-high diff is fair here. I don't know what to expect with the Weasel. All I know is a high fight IQ, and that's gonna be tough to deal with. Next up, Jesse on Fire. Jesse on Fire has some kicks to his game. Is also a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've seen a few of his grappling matches. He posts a few of those on his Instagram. Not bad. Not bad. I mean, listen. I'm going to say this. There's a skill difference between the adult divisions and the masters division. He's a gi guy. I'll say that. A little bit of the no-gi mixed in there. He's not too bad in the grappling department. However, I'd be lying if I'd be saying, I think I could take. I think I got him in the grappling. I really do. I think I'm winning that. Now, as far as the striking go, I'm going to be 100% real with you, just so you guys know my background. I do not have kicks for shit. If we're in the pocket, no, I could probably rip a few to the body and then go for a hook up there, maybe a check hook as you're coming in. But for the most part, we can keep it in the pocket. The moment I feel like you're creating distance and you start drilling me with some kicks, I do feel like that's going to be a problem for me, knowing me. However, the moment I can lock hands around you, the moment we're getting into that clinks, I do feel like I'm going to be getting an inside-outside trip. And the moment we're getting down there, I'm going to be using Kimura, taking your back, and then I'm going to secure a body triangle, and then I'm going to start working on that rear naked choke. And looking at Jesse on Fire's grappling game, I really do think I'm going to be taking that one out fairly easily once we get into the ground. As far as an MMA rule set, I'm going to say mid-diff. I do believe mid-diff is fair. I think standing up, he could be a good problem. I do believe once we get to the ground, though, I think I get that done rather quickly. Next up, Hapiro MMA. Listen, Hapiro MMA. Okay? I'm sorry if I say your name wrong. I've been pronouncing up Hero MMA for so long. That is how I pronounce it. For real, though, Hapiro MMA strikes me as a guy that is secretly really fucking good at jiu-jitsu. I know some people, they'll listen to his videos and be like, okay, he's fairly knowledgeable, but I mean, they don't know about the build of the guy. I'm going to be real with you. Okay? And I don't know what he looks like at all. However, let me tell you what I think. I did the same thing for the Weasel. I'm going to do the same thing for Hapiro MMA. He is either a very average-built person with little to no combat sports experience. Or, what I think, is he is I'm going to say 5'11" to 6'1". I think that's valid. Maybe a little bit skinnier on the build side, but he's lean. And I'm going to say he is secretly good at jiu-jitsu. He has a little bit of the autism that we're rocking with, because I think a lot of people, I'm just going to be real here. And I'll say it a couple times, and I say this in the most loving way possible, because, brother, Tism recognizes our fellow autist, okay? I think a lot of people who get into MMA content creation, no bullshit, have they either have ADHD or borderline antisocial or a smidgen of Tism, okay? You don't do this because this is like something that makes sense. No, you do this because you have one of those. Hapiro MMA strikes me as a dude that has a smidgen of the Tism, but it's enough of the Tism till you get really fucking good at things. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the way that he speaks, the way that his editing works, but it's crisp like a person who is a perfectionist. That's what it strikes me as. And I think if you're not in grappling, dude, I don't know if you're going to watch this video by any means. I know you've seen like one or two of mine. If you haven't gotten into jiu-jitsu yet, brother, join a jiu-jitsu gym. I think you'd actually be pretty good. I don't know enough to do an accurate gauge, okay? I'm putting him in low maybe. I'm going to put him in low because he could be a mid-diff or a no-diff. If he does nothing, then it is a no-diff. There's just no way to sell it. But I'm going to say a low diff because he could be a high mid-diff. Like, I'll be real. I've seen Jesse on Fire grapple. I know I got that shit. Hapiro MMA? I don't know what I'm getting into. The MMA Guru. Listen, MMA Guru. Listen, I have had matchups against people that are 6'5". So I think that the tallest person that I think I've ever and that's not technically a fight. It was a grappling match. 6'7". 6'7" is the biggest guy I've ever had to go up against. I'm 6'1", and there is such a big world of difference from 6'1" to above 6'5". That's something that you realize real quick, and I felt tiny. Gave me a lot of trouble, but I won. I'll tell you this right now, though. I remember, I'll show some of the footage as I'm talking, but I remember MMA Guru talking about how he did rugby, and no lie, okay. The hardest double leg I've ever been hit with, and there's a difference between a good double leg and a mean double leg, okay? The meanest double leg I've ever been hit with was by a rugby player. It was not technical at all. It just did enough to fucking hurt you. Like, I'll tell you this right now. Even if I beat MMA Guru, okay? No bullshit, I think he would hurt me. Like, legitimately, I do believe he would hurt me. I think I would hurt him back. But I mean, like, I would be bullshitting if I said, oh, I got the, I 100% got this. As far as the striking, as far as his boxing, I think boxing a little bit. I think I got that one. I haven't seen enough of his kicks. I know he did I know he said something about how he did. It was it wasn't karate. It was taekwondo. And that'll be a fucking problem. I'm not even gonna lie. If he's like pretty good at taekwondo, that's gonna be a problem with me because my kicks are just bullshit. As far as a game plan, how could I get this done? Well, the one thing I think I could change levels on him and go for that single leg. And before he can hit a sprawl, or if he starts to go for the sprawl, then I'm going to try to go for a body lock, and then I'm going to go for an outside trip. And then from there, keeping him down is going to be a problem. I honestly think my best case scenario would be to use a Kimura lock system and use that to leverage into either an armbar. I mean, realistically, this is how I think it's going to go. I think I will be on top position for a little bit, and I'm able to get a few shots in on top. But then, just because of the sheer mass of MMA Guru, okay? I don't even mean he's fat. I mean, he's just a big dude. I think he's going to be able to get out of that position. And I think his game plan is going to have to be to separate, but I can see a scenario. IQ goes out the window. I'm going to have full mount. I'm going to start laying down blows. He's going to come up, and he's going to start laying down his own blows. The problem is now I'm in a perfect situation where I can start going for a triangle from the back. And then I'm not going to lie to you, bro. I've put there's a few of my submissions I am very confident in, and some of them that I'm not. I got a mean triangle. That I am you can't see right now, but brother, I got some Mustang legs over here. I think I could get that one done. If I had to make a prediction, I think it's gonna be a close matchup. I think he wins on the feet, but I could see a scenario where he gets careless, and I'm gonna throw up that triangle, and I'm gonna get a tap out right from there. Now I'm going to say, I said the Weasel's 5'10", but I'm gonna put the Weasel and MMA Guru. I'm gonna put near the same level because I don't know what to expect from Weasel. The Weasel will either be low diff or I'm cooked. Bedtime MMA. No live. Okay. I am guessing what they look like based off their voice, so I might get a few of these wrong. Bedtime MMA. 6'1". Okay, 6'1". Wears a lot of t-shirts. I'm thinking t-shirts. Not quite skinny jeans, but like fashionable Levi jeans. Nikes. And as far as a fighting style, I think Bedtime MMA strikes me as a guy that throws fucking hands. Okay, like for real though, I don't. When I think about Bedtime MMA, I don't believe he's going to be. I think a little bit of high school wrestling. I'm gonna assume he's from the United States, so I'm gonna assume some wrestling because a lot of these guys do come from a wrestling background. I'm gonna say a little bit of a wrestling. I think off that little assumption, I'm thinking a single leg is potentially gonna be a problem for me. As far as in the stand-up department, I'm gonna say we're probably gonna be about even. This one's going to be tough. I mean, I know what I'm getting with Jesse on Fire. I think I can game plan for Jesse on Fire a bit better. But as far as a Bedtime MMA, I need to see a little bit more. But I'm gonna play it safe. I would go into this matchup expecting a mid-diff fight with potential high mid-diff damage. Next up, Lucas Tracy MMA. 5'10", maybe even 5'9". Yeah, he has to have done something. Like I understand he did bodybuilding, and I'll be real. I have gone up against like a few people that have gone into that bodybuilding world. Don't get me wrong, they're strong people, and it feels like you're trying to grapple a fucking wood door, like they're just made of muscle. The problem is everybody's strong until you get a fully locked in body triangle and you're just digging for that rear naked choke. I think, if I'm going to be brutally honest here, if we're talking about a Lucas Tracy, his best bet is to try to keep this at distance. The moment he goes into the pocket, I'm going to get a clinch. I'm going to get him to the ground. I will get him to the ground. That much I am confident in. And once we get there, personally, I can see a scenario where I'm going for Kimuras from the top. I could see a scenario where I'm raining down some shots. He starts curling up, and from there, I'm either going to get a body triangle, or I'm going to be going for arm bars. I'm going to be going something with the arms. I just feel it right now. I think he's going to do enough. He's going to make it very difficult for me to strangle him, but he's going to keep his hands up, and I'm going to say, if it's a choke, it'll be an arm triangle. I believe it's going to be either a arm bar or Kimura finish, and if I want to be fancy with it, I can say a Tarico Plata. Other than that, I don't think I'll hit anything else. Now, what is he bringing to this? I heard somebody says he trains Muay Thai. How about this? I'm going to assume he is a average Muay Thai guy. You got to keep it at distance, and I'm like 90% sure I do have a meaningful reach advantage on Lucas Tracy. Whenever I see somebody that like. I'm going to assume, I'm going to say he's 5'9". I think I got this one. I really do. I think I take him down, and I think I take it down pretty easily. I'm going to say Lucas Tracy, though, is going to be at the top of low diff. Kian Kimura. Okay. I've actually been watching some Kian Kimura videos, and I'm going to say this right now. Kian Kimura, when I first was getting a lot of these names on here, I was planning on putting Kian Kimura and no diff. I'm just going to be honest with you. But looking at his channel, okay? Looking at some of the progress he's made, like physically. Like, brother, he lost a lot of weight. And I have found people that can lose that amount of weight, people that can do, like, the fasting that he does, those are people that, they're probably not the greatest. They got some fucking heart, though. I could see a scenario where, like, I'm hurting him. He hurts me. I hurt him again. He hurts me. And we're just really hurting each other. I think if I'm taking him out, I'm going to have to not really give him a choice. I think it's going to have to be a strangle. I really do. I think that's going to be half the way it's going to go. Because I could see a scenario where he just muscles fucking through it. Because people that can lose that type of weight and go through like those long stints of like, it's not that they're super difficult to do, right? But it's the small, difficult things that add up that I feel like that builds character and that builds willpower. Honestly, just because of that, I can see a scenario where he might be in trouble. Like, I feel like there's more dog in Kimura than there is Lucas Tracy. Just slightly more dog in him. Next up, MMA Say. Listen, MMA Say. Well, first off, let me just say this. The two people that inspired this video, and I'm going to have links to both of their channels and both of their videos in the description down below, and I actually highly recommend you check them out if you like this type of content. Bedtime MMA made a very similar tier list, I think it was like 3 months ago. And Rigo, I believe, was the first dude to ever do it. So, number one, I'm going to have links to both their channels. Check them out. MMA Say, though, was the person that gave me this idea for this video. Not because he did it, but because a while ago, I don't know if this beef is still going strong, and I'm sorry if I, like, re-resurrected, but actually, I'm not big enough to re-resurrect. What am I kidding? But MMA Say and Lucas Tracy have some beef. And I'm going to be real, I think MMA Say gets it done, dude. Like, I was watching a training video about MMA Say. MMA Che. I'm gonna call it MMA Che. Okay, MMA Che. And he looks pretty good. Like, striking wise, I mean, outside of like the normal stuff, like keep your hands up every time that you're throwing a strike with this hand, hands up, hands up, hands up. Like, outside of stuff like that, like the normal basic stuff that literally everybody forgets how to do that. That's how people get KO'd. He does that pretty well. He has pretty clean leg kicks. He has good flexibility. He has good height on his head kicks. I think that's, like, that. People don't realize how impressive that is. I'll say this right now. MMA Che is a way better kickboxer than I am. He just is. I think he's a better kickboxer. I think boxing-wise, if we're going straight there, I think that's a much closer matchup. But even then, I mean, like, if you have kicks, you can keep this at distance. Like, I'm gonna rule a point for MMA Che here. A point to MMA Che, and then we'll do a point for boxing. So right now we're 2-1. His grappling's not bad. Like, I'll be real. MMA Che is definitely a mid going into a high tier blue belt. That would be my prediction. As far as his grappling, it's not bad. The only, I mean, there's the stuff that he could fix with his grappling is just more stuff when you're talking about, like, flowing into positions from positions to positions. I think his guard passing needs work. I think his guard passing is a little bit slow, but this was like 4 months ago. I think you can improve that. Some of his submissions, I don't know. Like, if you look at my style of grappling, I need to get a training video on if I keep on talking all this shit. I feel like flowing from using a submission to leverage into a position and from there being able to finish a fight, I appreciate that style a little bit more. When I look at an MMA Che, I mean, his striking is better. It just is. I think grappling, if we're doing a straight grappling match, I win. I do have enough confidence that I'd be able to get that one done. This one's tough. I like, dude, I might actually, I've seen Jesse on fire grapple. MMA Che, I might put him in high diff. Like, I might put him in high diff. I'm going to put him in low high diff, though. I really do feel like it goes to the ground. I got this. Next up, Rigo. Listen, let me just tell you this. Rigo would 10-7 me at a press conference. I am not great at shit talk. I am just not the best at it. Every once in a while, I'll have a zinger of a line, but I am not like a Conor McGregor shit talker. I'm just not. He would 10-8, 10-7 me at every single press conference that we would do. I would do very bad things to him. And I mean that in an endearing way. Like, I'm putting you in no diff. I'll tell you this, though. He's not going to be in the no diff of the no diffs. There's some people that I think would put up a better fight. I'll say this right now. Rigo would talk the shit, but he would back that shit up. Okay, we would go into there. He would sew up. He would sew up into that octagon and be like, you know what? Let's fucking go. And then we would throw down for a little bit. I think I'd get this done with inside the first 3 rounds. Not first 3 rounds. First 3 minutes. But I mean, like, I'll give him respect for talking shit and sewing up. That's how I feel like that would go. Now, he's not the no diff of the no diffs. MMA Joey. Listen, he would probably beat me at a press conference. Okay? Probably beat me at a press conference. I get this one done. I think he's actually a little bit easier than Rigo. Okay, actually, yeah, I think I'll put Rigo slightly. I would like to see Rigo versus MMA Joey. I say that. I think that's a good fight. I say book it. Next up, Ariel Helwani. We're doing 3 no diffs in a row. No, Ariel Helwani is the no diff of no diffs. I don't even think he was so up to the fight. That's how disappointing it is. Here's the thing. Rigo would sew up and he would talk shit right before he did it. MMA Joey would talk shit, sew up. Ariel Helwani wouldn't. He'll say one. No. I'll tell you that. Let me tell you what would happen. Ariel Helwani would make an implication that I'm anti-Semitic and then not sew up. That's how I think that would go. Frankly, I'm sorry. Ariel Helwani does not strike me as a dude yeah. I don't think I need to explain it. Mexican martial arts. Dude, I like Mexican martial arts. Dude, I don't even want to say anything bad. To be fair, everything that I've said that's bad has really just been like, no, I think I could take you there. Man, I like Mexican martial arts, dude. He is an OG of this game, and all honesty, it hurts that I didn't put him on the last one, but as much as I like Mexican martial arts, he hasn't made a lot of videos pertaining to, like, he hasn't been keeping up with the sport as much as some of these other guys. Like MMA Guru took over in the time that, like, Mexican martial arts has kind of been more or less dormant. Now, how do I think this goes? Listen, Mexican ground karate, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, that's what it is. He would do better than Lucas Tracy. He would do better than Kimura, and I think he would be near like that Jesse on Fire level of difficulty, in all honesty. I think he's secretly really fucking good, if I'm going to be real. But I'm going to put him in mid-diff difficulty fight. Renato Moicano. Here's the thing. My toxic trait is I would still sew up. But I'm cooked. I'm sorry. Listen. I would love to have a grappling match with Renato Moicano, not because I believe I would win, but because I think that would be kind of cool, and he seems like a super cool guy. I'm very sorry that you didn't get the Paddy Pimblett fight. I actually think that you would F up Paddy Pimblett, and I think they're taking the safe route with doing it with Bobby Green. I really do. I really do think they're trying to take a safer route. But that being said, stop buttering you up. I would lose. I would definitely lose that one. I mean, is anybody really going to blame me on that? Okay. Next up, Steven Strangles people. Cooked. But not quite as cooked as fighting Renato Moicano, like an actual, like, super trained UFC fighter. Steven Strangles people is a pupil under John Danaher. If you don't know who John Danaher is, read a fucking book. But if you're not gonna do that, let me tell you. So John Danaher was the head jiu-jitsu coach. Actually, he was the head coach over GSP. First off, GSP's corner, I might make a whole video over how stacked GSP's corner was. He had Faraz Sahabi, John Danaher, and in his camp was Gordon Ryan. That's how stacked GSP's team was. John Danaher is one of the greatest minds in the entirety of combat sports, and he is considered the greatest current mind in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Steven Strangles people trained under him directly in the blue basement. Holy shit, I gotta get you guys back up on... Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu lore is legitimately interesting if you take the time to get into it. Like, the beefs between B-Team and New Wave, the Blue Basement with John Danaher, GSP, all of those guys, that's legitimately interesting. But just know, Steven Strangles people, which is crazy just how big his channel is and how long I've been watching it, he was by John Danaher during, like, the whole Blue Basement stuff. All that to say he would fuck me up. He would absolutely destroy me when it came to, like, I would get cooked. Like, he might hurt me more than Renato Moicano, because Moicano, I think, would just, like, play around with me, strangle me. I feel, Steven Strangle, like, cool dude. 100% has a side of him that's, like, that's how I feel. And he's a cool dude, though. I like his channel, one of my favorites. TJ Loves Fights. Go to channel. Now, I'm going to be real. He doesn't give me a lot of stuff to work with. It's very hard to get a read on him. Now, but where would I put him? Is he a mid-diff? Like, he is like a more popular Rapiro MMA. He really is. I'll tell you this right now, though. I think he is above a Lucas Tracy. I really do. I think he would be in a mid-diff. I already said it, though. Kian Kimura, just because of what I've seen from him, that's a dude that got a little bit of dog in him, and I haven't seen... I mean, he hasn't given me any areas to see the dog in him. So I'm going to put him in mid-diff, low mid-diff. And with that out of the way, that's going to be it for the list. Tell me if you guys enjoy this in the comment section down below. And if you want to see another list like this, Bedtime MMA has a list has a tier list in the description down below. Same thing with Rigo. 2 channels that I am subscribed to. Very cool dudes. And with that out of the way, tell me what you think in the comment section down below. If you want me to make a part 2, I mean, I wouldn't hold out crazy hope, but if you bring me some people that you're curious about, put in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for your support. We're about to get to 10,000, and I will see you all next time. Adios.